shit. Here we go again.
Low, low, man. Low, low, man.
You like contracts, right? You're a contract guy.
I read contracts instead of conventional pornography, yes.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
What is up, everybody? It's your boy, Andrew Esquire, American attorney, over here living in Asia. And of course, this is The Legal Mindset, where we teach you, yes, you at home, to be your own judge. Hope you guys are doing well. It is a lovely evening over here in Bangkok, Thailand, and I am enjoying it. I'm also early. I know. I'm here for the Scuff Says for 2. Early to scold chat. Yes, to establish dominance over chat. Really, it's to set a pattern of unpredictability. That's how you keep them. That's how you keep them interested in the long run. You never know what they're gonna do. It's gonna be crazy. There's curveballs left and right. But it's good to see everybody here today in the house and checking in. Please come in, smash the like button or whatever buttons you have in front of you, and enjoy the show today. We're doing a little bit of a curveball today. Not really, entirely, because this is going to be kind of Nuisance streamer adjacent, but also deal with the Nuisance streamer and Japanese Nuisance streamer topics. But I want to talk about Logan Paul's return to Japan, because he is prospectively going to be returning to streaming in Japan, and this is indeed quite a controversial thing. It also brings up a lot of legal questions for Japan in terms of what they want to do. And I think now is the right time for Japan to take certain actions, regardless of whether they ultimately let Paul in. I think it's a case for them taking action now to really think about how they want to deal with streamers in the future. So we're going to get into that today. I do have a little warm up. We got some memes to start out with. We've also got a trending viral video out of Thailand about a very, very rude young woman. She's, I believe, from Israel. And she was extraordinarily rude to the locals, so I'll show you that one as a little bit of a preview. But let me get these memberships here, because we got some big ones. King Lugia coming up with 10 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you for the early evening.
Emotional damage.
Speaking of which, I was watching earlier on YouTube, there were these videos of Uncle Roger with one of the local Bangkok, Thailand food channels, going around and eating food. I think it's Mark Wine. They're going around and eating food around Bangkok. It was very hilarious because Mark is this wholesome guy, always smiling, never curses, and Uncle Roger is like cursing and making like sexual innuendo every 2 seconds. So very funny moment. Really gave me some
Emotional damage.
Robert Von Beek, well, thank you for the 10 Legal Mindset memberships. Appreciate that very, very, very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes.
And then we got JP, my mod. Thank you for the 5 Legal Mindset memberships, and Razor Wire Piercing as a new member. Welcome, welcome. V-Man 103 Productions says, hey, lawyer man, I farted.
No, 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 no. Wait.
Objection relevance? All right. Let's see what else we got here, and we're going to continue. Naaman's the ReedTuber says, I wonder how many VTubers know about Logan Paul. We're going to find out. So according to the poll I have it right now, there's 1,000 of you here. So according to this poll, about 66% of you know what Logan Paul did in Japan. 25% say you do not know, and 4% and 9% say vaguely. So we're going to talk about Logan Paul, kind of who he is, as an internet celebrity, etc., and what happened in Japan specifically. So we'll get into that right soon, very, very soon. Now, let's see. Neko Girl said, good morning. Here's for the goal. Thank you. Appreciate that for contributing to the goal of keeping those nuisance streamers out of Japan, which is something I try to do. All right, so let's get into the first item. Now, this one is actually a Instagram video that I was sent today. The the Thais that I know are not happy about this one. So let's go ahead and give this one a listen here. So you guys can let me know what you think about this. I mean, is this young lady in the right here? Let's see. This is a young woman. I believe she's Israeli. She is in a local restaurant in Thailand. So let's hear what she has to say. See what she has to say.
Thank you. You are not welcome here. I'm sorry, but your money, but my money, okay, build your country. Oh, wow. Okay, keep that. Go back to your country.
So I don't know. So she was asked to take off her shoes. So in response to being asked to take off her shoes by a local restaurant, as is very much the custom in many places, if you go to many shops, some people already dropping the Thai swear words in the chat. I'm not going to tell you what this one means, but it's not good. But anyways, saying, hey, I'm not going to, she's saying, I'm not going to take off my shoes. Our money builds your. I mean, let me just play this one more time. I couldn't believe this when I heard this. Like the audacity of someone to say this in this country is just so bad.
You are not welcome here. I'm sorry, but your money, but my money, okay, build your country.
So just to be clear. I'm sure that the 100 baht that she's spending on her mango sticky rice or whatever the hell it was, or her avocado toast or whatever the hell she was ordering, that's not needed. They don't need her 100 baht. Okay. That is absolutely not building the country. That is not helping people. In fact, that attitude is exactly what is not necessary. And if you need that attitude anywhere in the world, right? Anywhere. You're better off staying home. If that's your attitude traveling to any country in the world, you're better off staying home. You're better off not getting on that plane. If you think that the people that are in any country you're visiting, anyone, Japan, Korea, Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, any country, if you think they need your money and you're so high and mighty that you're going to be doing them some service, you should stay home. That is not the right attitude you need to be traveling with. That's not the right attitude to be there. And it's certainly going to get you into trouble. It's going to get you into trouble real fast. And that's the exact same attitude that we see with people like Somali, people like Nuisance streamers that actually believe they're doing a good for the country. It's insane. It's insane. Sitsar Luchai for the Songroy Thai bot. Thank you so much. Kopun Kap. Appreciate that. Also, 5 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you for that. Let's get a little Ramsey in there for that one.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
That girl's lucky she didn't get a Ramsey, if you know what I'm talking about. Dust Blight, member for 11 months, says crazy. Logan did that in January of 2018, 7 years. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So the thing is, does time make it go away? Does time make people forgive? Do you believe his apology was sincere? So we're going to show all this, and I really want to know what you guys' opinion, because I have some people telling me that Logan Paul is the root of all evil, and other people really not caring, and I guess there might be some Logan Paul fans. So we're going to get that opinion of chat today and kind of suss that out. I didn't cover Logan before because this was something that was purely historical, but now that he's talking about coming back this year and coming back indeed with other streamers, it becomes a current year problem. King Lugia said, this bish is super white. Yes, indeed, and very entitled. Duranda says, isn't desecration of a body 7 years minimum? Logan Paul was not charged. We will talk about that. That is a great point. Great point. Not charged with it. So, that's, it may be on the books that way, but as far as I'm aware, was never charged with it and is not legally, and we'll talk about this, he's not legally prohibited in a strict, direct sense, right? Razor Pierce says, nothing Logan does is sincere. MCCY for 99 Philippine peso says Sky Kane is in China, obviously on the run. Yeah, he is trying to stay out because the heat is on in the Philippines, and he is keeping his head low, trying to pretend he's not running away when he clearly is. Iram Amin for 20,000 Indonesian rupiah says he ran away because of Messi's bodyguard. Tegrat with 50 legal mindset memberships.
Oh, hell no.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
Thank you so much, Tank Rat. One of my OGs here, always coming through. Thank you, thank you. If you received a big gift from Tank Rat, give a W in the chat and just say thank you. It's always good to share the love, and we always have member streams here every month, which are exclusive. I've got some exclusive topics I'm going to talk about. So yeah, we're going to get to that. All right. So Logan Paul, YouTube sensation, you might say, and big on the internet. But this man came to Japan back in the day. Oh, wait, hold on. Before I go into this, hold on. We got memes. Sorry, we got to laugh. Today's topic is kind of morbid, so I want to start laughing because it's going to get very serious. So I do have two memes. Let me share these memes first. This was a very good meme. This was shared by somebody, an RKI meme about the cabbages. And yes, guys, we will have an RKI stream very, very soon, so don't you worry. But we've got our good fella Johnny here, picking some cabbages over here. It was just a joke. Yeah, no. It was indeed not. Very good meme. I do like that one. Korean police kind of supervising there. And then we got another one. And this one is kind of funny. I like this one. This one more describes Vitaly, which is when you think you're too famous to fail. 20K viewers live, but end up doing IRL streams from prison. 0 viewers, coin ordered. That is Vitaly's current condition. So thank you for the memes. I do appreciate that. If you have them, you can always send them on my X or send them to my email, and I will show them in the next episode. I always love having some memes. So, okay. Time jump. way back. Time jump. The year is 2018. Many years ago, we had Logan Paul going to Japan. And he went to a very specific place in Japan. My friend Josh of Meme Copium and Inaka Adventures has talked about this. This is the Aokigahara Forest at the base of Mount Fuji. Now, this forest is well known by the moniker, the self-deletion forest. I still don't like saying the word because we're 13 minutes in and I'm trying to keep this video monetized. And obviously this is a very serious subject. I in no way condone or accept. I think it's absolutely horrible to engage in that. It's never reason to engage in any form of self-harm. Certainly never taking your own life. But there is a forest that is known by that in Japan because it is a site of very frequent occurrences of people ending their own lives. Very, very bad. So it's known. And so if you go there and you're looking around, right, you know that you have a strong possibility of finding somebody if you look hard enough. And indeed, when Logan Paul went there back in 2018, he quickly did, which was the big problem. So he actually posted that, and it got him in massive trouble. Okay? And because of that, his YouTube got hit. And YouTube punished Logan Paul over that video and over showing that footage. Mind you, he didn't know who this person was. He didn't get permission of their family. He didn't seek any clearance, right? It was a weird decision. It got 6 million views quickly and shot up, I believe, to even 10 million. And so YouTube decided to punish him, and they cut business ties with him, and they removed him from their preferred program, where the brands sell ads on the platform's top 5% of content creators. So it was definitely something that was very, very dumb to do, was wildly inappropriate, especially given that he had an audience that was, obviously very, very young. And, online, this was hated by the Japanese and people abroad. Japanese people and people abroad said it was disrespectful and disgusting. And it was completely uncalled for. And then he said, hey, I never should have posted that video. I should have put the cameras down and stopped recording. Well, you did decide to do that. Now, we're going to watch his apology because I do want to be fair. And I do try to be fair in my coverage. and say, hey, look, what happened? So after he did that, he ended up apologizing. So I'm going to play the apology now, guys. And I want you to tell me after we listen to the entire apology, if you believe it is sincere. I'm not going to try to influence you here. I'm just going to say, like, do you believe this is a sincere apology? Yes or no? Turn the volume all the way up.
I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment, and I don't expect to be forgiven. I'm simply here to apologize. So what we came across that day in the woods was obviously unplanned, and the reactions you saw on tape were raw, they were unfiltered. None of us knew how to react or how to feel. I should have never posted the video. I should have put the cameras down and stopped recording what we were going through. There's a lot of things I should have done differently, but I didn't. And for that, from the bottom of my heart, I am sorry. I want to apologize to the internet. I want to apologize to anyone who's seen the video. I want to apologize to anyone who has been affected or touched by mental illness or depression or suicide. But most importantly, I want to apologize to the victim and his family. For my fans who are defending my actions, please don't. They do not deserve to be defended. The goal with my content is always to entertain, to push the boundaries, to be all-inclusive. In the world I live in, I share almost everything I do. The intent is never to be heartless, cruel, or malicious. Like I said, I've made a huge mistake. I don't expect to be forgiven. I'm just here to apologize. I'm ashamed of myself. I'm disappointed in myself. And I promise to be better. I will be better. Thank you.
Okay, so we've now all seen the apology together. And by the way, I'm not going to try to influence you here because I want to once again let you guys be your own judge and make up your own mind. You guys can make up your own mind about the sincerity of that. That's not really a legal thing; it's a personal thing. Although I will note some things he said in there that are very interesting. But I will tell you one thing, and that's what my mod said, my head mod, who has a very good insight here on these things. She dropped over here. Danielle says this was definitely written by lawyers. So yeah, I'm not going to tell you how to feel about the sincerity, but I will tell you this is absolutely true. He uses words like intent, right? That is meant to mitigate criminality, saying, oh, there was no intention to do this. But one thing where I think he screwed up in that, at least from a legal standpoint, is he did say that I was trying to push the boundaries. And this is the problem with nuisance streaming is a lot of people say, oh, well, it starts out benign. It starts out non-criminal. The problem is in the nuisance streaming realm, you do have to keep pushing the boundaries in order to get more engagement, to be the next big thing. So you keep pushing the boundaries and pushing the boundaries, right? And that's how you end up doing things that are indeed not legal, things that are illegal. I'm gonna get some of your comments here, and then we'll keep going with the coverage. Nico Girl 862 says, like RK, I will never believe anything Logan Paul says. I don't believe he was apologetic. He was upset. He got into trouble. He apologized for scamming his fans, but still hasn't paid them back like he promised. I hate he's from Idaho. Sorry if you ruins that Idaho thing for you, but yeah, no. Look. I can understand that kind of sentiment. Like there's a lot of people that apologize for not for what they did and feel genuinely bad that they did. They apologize. They get caught. There's a lot of internet personalities that end up doing that, saying, hey, I'm sorry that you guys had to see that, or this had to be exposed. I mean, sorry for posting the video. Well, bro, you shouldn't have recorded the video in the first place. You should have had something within you that says this is wrong and should not be documented, right? It feels like if I saw somebody who died. Actually, let me tell a personal story. I was coming back from a festival here during the water festival, Songkran, the New Year, the Thai New Year. I was driving in a taxi and it was going very slow. And I was wondering why the taxi was going slow. And there was a horrible crash, horrible crash. And there's no median. So I can see the other side of the road where there's 3 cars that are just, 2 of them are just destroyed. There's a motorbike, and there is a guy who is, he's 100% dead, but the medics are like working on him and like, you know, pumping his chest and stuff, trying to revive him. And look, if I stuck my hand out of the car window and started recording it, could that be a viral video, right? Yeah, sure, it could have been. But that's morally screwed up and wrong to deal with people that are in tragic, traumatic situations and use it for content, right? And use it for content. It's horribly wrong. Just because you have a camera and you can do it, right? You could do it. It doesn't mean you should do it. And there should be something in your brain that says, yeah, this is morally, or your heart, right? Or your, whatever you believe in, right? Your soul, your heart, your head, something that tells you that's horribly up and wrong, right? And this is neither the time and the place. So to me, it just blows my mind that nobody that was in that group had the interior thought to say, this is just wrong and we should not be doing this as human beings, right? And I think somebody said in the chat, clout clouds judgment. I think that's very, very much true. And I think people just think content. And when your brain is wired on content, it does mess up the morality function. And you have to be careful. Look, I'm not immune to this, but you have to actively try to fight against that. Also, I'm here for the scuff. Says, thanks for the birthday stream. Is it your birthday today? Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Cheers. Big Buddha says the S word forced. Yes, yes. Marcin Wazak says he's partly responsible for the adpocalypse for showing a hangman on YouTube. Yes, yes. That is partly what it was. Chaos Sonic 1 says Logan was the original Johnny Somali, and all of this is all his fault. Let the Yakuza know he started all this. Have fun, Logan. Hope the CoffeeZilla suit don't destroy your reputation more than you already did. Oof. Oof. Amanda Main for 10 says no body language and the tone of his voice is a lack of emotion. He is sorry there were actions taken against him, but he is not sorry. Well, he's sorry, but not apologetic. Shepard's Gaming says he hits the apology buzzwords he researched. I think his lawyers researched. There are professional people that write these sort of things. Who cares says not a Logan fan and his prime is overpriced, overhyped, and awful water. Big Buddha is written by lawyers because he didn't have Chat GPT. That's true. Chaos Sonic said Logan's apology is as real as his crypto payments. Oh, man. And G1 Emma Yoon, hey, thank you for the Manwan. It says if he went to that famous Woodland recording, that's wrong. Why he went there and recording? He went there because he knew there was a high probability of seeing something like that. You wouldn't go there and have a camera and bring a crew unless you knew you were going to go there. And would you go and do that at a funeral? Would you go and do that at a morgue? Would you go and do that at a hospital where people are dying? No, you wouldn't. Sitar Luchai for 40 Tide Bots says Logan is doing much better than RKI. Say sorry. Yeah, well, at least he said something, right? If you compare Logan and RKI, at least he did something. Even it was a corporate statement that you guys felt, many of you feel, is insincere. By the way, according to the poll, 80% believe that it was a non-sincere, an insincere apology. 13% are undecided. Only 7% believe it was sincere. And once again, I'm not trying to tell you how to feel about that, but what I am going to say is facts are facts. The majority of people in this chat, at least, in this chat, believe, we got 2,500 people here, and 80% of them think that was insincere. That seems to be the majority conclusion. But we're gonna continue. Bob says a lot if you're rude to the hospitality retail workers in general. Cherry on top was weaponizing Thai dependency on tourists to excuse them. That is if I saw that woman do that, I would say something directly to her. They don't need her, and I guarantee you, I know people that are Thai that are far wealthier than she ever could dream to be. Right, with her, bringing her nasty shoes into this restaurant, and some poor restaurant owner just not wanting her to bring her dirty, stinking shoes into the restaurant and maybe wanting to, keep their restaurant clean and a little bit sanitary. I don't know. Might be something. Xenocoro one says honor is one actions, not words, Logan. I agree. Iverson Eiffel says this is the most sincere YouTube apology I've seen. Nicholas says, so 20s teens formatted apology. Kerbal says, I don't condom, Gundam, or condone anything Logan Paul does, only condemn. Is he playing at IRL again? We're going to talk about that. That's the news. That's the news. One more and we're going to go. Actually, two more. and we're gonna go. As a firefighter that responded to multiple road crash rescues, I appreciate your tact and wish others had the same conduct, especially how rubbernecks cause more accidents than we have to respond to. Exactly. When someone's trying to post an accident on TikTok, it's going to create another accident. So generally, number one, I think it's horrible to film that sort of stuff in the first place. That is, in somebody, if there's a fatality, someone just lost their brother, someone just lost their son or their daughter or their dad or their mom or their granddad or grandmom, uncle, aunt. Somebody loved that person, right? And somebody cared about that person and they're gone. A best friend. And to try to use that for any sort of attention, I think it's a black mark on our society, right? It's very, very black. Luther Harris for 10 says, Logan is really the original Nuisance streamer. Before the Force video, he did a few blogs carrying a dead fish around Tokyo and harassing locals. I did not know that. He pulled a Somali in a Pikachu costume, and he is still a horrible person. I did not know that part. Glacia Aquila, Nike Photos, Fed Limited for 50 Danish krona says, let's not forget he went to Japan to act like a Nuisance streamer, like running around and throwing a Pokeball at random people. That is very annoying. Also, Fred Herbert says for 5, WWE needs to release Logan from his contract, regardless of the amount of money he generates for the company. He is full of drama and bad PR. Oh, Neko Girl also corrected Idaho, Iowa. Ohio, not Idaho. Sorry. Ohio. Why am I? Iowa, Idaho, Ohio. These are states of the United States. I am indeed a person who knows all 50 states of the United States. I am just slipping my mind right now. It's just slipping my mind right now. Thank you. Katie Not Cat says, show me you're sorry. Don't tell me you're sorry. Agree for that. And last, Law Ire says for 2, jury determines credibility. Judge has no say. All right. So let's go with a little bit of what is going on now. So after this apology, Logan did say that this did change his life. So this is a comment on what Japan did to him, and I'm just going to play a couple seconds of this.
If it weren't for Japan, I would have died.
So he claims that was a fundamental process in him changing his life or reforming, right? That's his quote unquote claim. He claims, once again, to be apologetic and sorry. So years later, he is now on a podcast with Aiden Ross, and let's see what he had to say about coming back to Japan. So there's 2 clips here. I'll play both of them. One's from Instagram and one's not, so whatever, but here we go.
Can we please go to Japan and stream? Like, I'm telling you, Logan, it'll go crazy. Listen, we could do a fun Japan trip. I had a bad Japan trip. You had a bad Japan trip.
What happened in your trip? Because
I went home after a day. You guarantee what? It wasn't as bad as you?
No.
Okay.
What happened?
So I left for a family emergency after being there for a day. Are you? Okay, but let's go back to Japan, you and I. I'm telling you. Logan, it's gonna be fun, dude.
If, how about this? If I go back.
Okay.
And I'm invited back, I'm welcome back.
Yes, of course.
By the Japanese people and the country of Japan.
Yeah.
Let's do a stream.
Yes!
Yeah, let's do a stream.
Let's fucking... If you'd want that, put a W in the chat right now, man. If y'all want that, one question.
So yeah, that's one, and then there's just another angle here. It's more cropped, but I'll play this one too. So once again, let me just be clear about the statement that he makes, right?
Let's do a stream.
But let's go back to Japan, you and I. I'm telling you. Logan, it's gonna be fun, dude.
If, how about this? If I go back.
Okay.
And I'm invited back, I'm welcome back.
Yes, of course.
By the Japanese people and the country of Japan.
Yeah.
Let's do a stream.
Okay. So the point I want to put here is there's a lot of things I want to point here. Number one, obviously he was thinking for a second there whether he wanted to even take a chance to do that. But welcome back by the Japanese people. I don't think they're going to welcome you back with open arms. I think the word he wanted was not welcome. I think the word he wanted was tolerated. So if they are tolerated in Japan, then he will go back, because I don't think welcome is going to be the right word. I don't think there's too many Japanese. Of course, there's some, right? Every country has their Hank U's. We all know Hank from the Somali saga. Every country has some people that are mentally deficient enough to welcome everybody back. But I don't think welcome is going to be necessarily the word, right? I don't think love and adoration, cheering at the airport. What I actually think is the real question is whether legally he will be permitted to come in the country. Now, we'll talk about that in 1 second because there's several bases for them to deny him entry. I have said it once, and I will say it again over and over. Countries do not have to let you in. He is not a Japanese citizen. He is not a Japanese citizen. And therefore, he has no right to come to Japan. And as far as I know, he has not obtained any special business visa or special permit to come to Japan. That would take an approval process, which generally would take 6 months to a year, right? So as far as I'm aware, he does not have any special visa. And by the way, even if he did have a visa, right, which it would say he went through a process and he went through applications, et cetera, right? Even then, if he shows up, they could decide, yeah, you know what, we don't want to let you in. And there are many reasons why people are not let into a country. It can be for criminal history. It can be for, being a persona non grata, aka being someone who is very, very annoying, but not necessarily a criminal. Or it could be for like past behavior in that country. Or it could be, and here's another one, for suspected work. And we're going to get into the digital nomad program and how that kind of plays out with this as well. But before I do that, let me get these memberships. Sebastian Mueller, vielen Dank for the 20 memberships, 20 memberships. Thank you so much. Danke, danke. Severely appreciate that. And let's take a little commercial break on that.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
Thank you. Thank you. Big Buddhist also says, I think you need to come back to America soon. You forget now to pronounce states. Yeah, I'm beginning to know how to pronounce Thai provinces better than states. That's how we're living over here on the Asia side. But no, I will be back this year. I'm not going to say when, but I am coming back to America for a jolly old visit. Zorro said, no, he went to Suicide Forest to make content. Yeah, no, he went there intentionally. You don't accidentally go to that forest and bring a camera. So he went in there knowing, and even Danny said here, he went to the forest looking for someone to film. Yeah, they were looking. LJ Rook says, I'm sorry, but if you're going to go to a forest with that title, what do you expect to find? Not genuine. Oh, it was our genuine shocked reaction that we were walking in a forest that we knew was this forest. And yeah. Nurple said, Ohio, Idaho, Iowa. Reading is really hard, guys. I know speaking the English. Razor wire piercing for Ted says, I lost a good friend 3 months ago to self-harm. If someone had filmed him like LP did and posted it, Logan Paul did, my actions would have landed me in jail and then in the ICU. I can understand that sentiment. I lost a very dear friend when I was 17 years old who was very close to me, very good friend. And I got a contact from his sister who said, hey, sorry, this happened. He was from Austria, great dude, super nice to me. I met his family. His mom cooked for me, super nice dude. He got extremely bullied though, was very isolated. And, that really hits me hard. That really actually affected me. And I don't actually talk about that one that much because, it was one of those, friendships that you like have a connection, but, we met for, several times when I go to Austria, when I go to Vienna, I would meet up with him. And he was just one of the nicest guys, so fucking sincere. And to when you think about that, when you lose somebody like that, you always wonder, like, what could I have done for them? And on the converse, I think if this was my friend in that situation and Logan Paul did this, I think I might be in jail. Knowing the law, I would probably be in jail, right? I see that. I feel that sentiment. I understand. Once again, I don't promote violence, but I understand the emotion that goes beyond that. That's why it's so wrong. Korean brewing adventure for 5,000. Ochan Won says, I know something that won't be the 51st state. Canada, elbows up. Y'all already are the never mind. Let me not get into the Canada stuff. All right, America's hat. Don't get too uppity up there, America's hat. Smoggy Moggy Cat Herder. as a new member. By the way, I love Canadians. One of my best friends here is Canadian. But there's a reason why he left Canada. Danny for 2 says, elbows up, side to side, lean in like a cholo. Bizarre Carmine says, day off with Long Lawman vodka and playing Nikkei. Oh, awesome. Sounds like a great time. Sebastian Mula said, you don't do the things Logan did in Japan by accident. Yeah, no, it was an intentional thing. It went there with the intent to create that content, which, like people have mentioned, was illegal, right? I mean, that could have got him in trouble for desecration of a dead body, right? And because of that, it is something he was lucky to not be put in jail for. And people, once again, that was a time in which you were just given the pat on the back and kind of sent out the door. 2018. This is now 7 years later. So he's talking about coming back 7 years later. And to be fair, if he did get hit with that crime, let's pretend he got hit with that crime, he would now be eligible to re-enter the country. So they would have banned him for 5 years or so, and they would have, and now he'd be able to come back because it's past that time on paper. But the thing is, if you've previously committed a crime in that country, such as Japan, they can deny you, even if you've done something non-criminal. For example, let's bring up our good buddy DBR. This is one of the Nuisance streamer we covered in Japan. I played this video before. Some of you guys have seen it. Some of you guys may have forgotten it. But this guy, let's play this video again.
Is getting hit with this. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. This is like a whole block of shit. Do it, I'll drop 100 subs, I will. So drop the 100 subs, because I'm going to do it more now that, fuck it, drop the 100 subs. Drop the 100 subs. This dude right here that looks like he's having a nice day. Sumimasen. Okay. Sorry.
So literally hit him in the glasses. By the way, he was bleeding after this. A criminal complaint was eventually filed, but not before this guy DBR fled the country. This is this year. This is current year Japan. So just to be very clear, this is the current state of Japan, right? Is there are these nuisance streamers coming in to cause incidents, to cause problems. We just had the entire IP crew, all those guys come through there. Half of them got in a bunch of trouble. They were fighting. Some of them were being chased around by Japanese people that they offended. Some of them got beat up. They were getting denied to board ferries. They were doing illegal, online gambling, etc. Getting kicked out of hotels. This is a climate in which you might call it the Somali era, in which nuisance streamers are a problem here and they're very much unwelcome. And Japan is very much in the sentiment of, hey, we're okay if you don't come here and stream. And maybe we can all take a minute. There's an overflux of tourists already in Japan. Maybe we can pause and take a minute and not come here right now. Maybe we can wait a year or two till things calm down a little bit, and then you can come back. And by the way, maybe don't IRL stream, right? Maybe don't IRL stream. It's not a good moment for Japan. It really is not a good moment. It's not a moment at which I'd say, yeah, come to Japan and create edgy content. I think Japan needs a little bit of a break. And it's been overplayed. Now, part of that is because Japan has not come down hard the same way that the Philippines has, or even comparatively Korea. Because remember, Johnny Somali was only given a slap on the wrist in Japan comparatively, and has already spent more time in Korea. Let me just be clear. To date, Johnny has been trapped in Korea pending his trial longer than Japan held him. So he's already been trapped in Korea longer than the full penalty he faced in Japan. So when I know some Japanese people get mad about this, but once again, I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying that compared to Korea, even so far, it was a light punishment. So Robert Von Beek gifted 20 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate.
Emotional damage.
Deanne Lipson says, sorry about your friend. That was rough. Yeah, no, once again, I was very young, so it kind of affected me. It was the first person I knew personally that happened to. And I think, you remember that. If it's a friend, you remember that because you really question yourself and you really, ask. But I am better today. Obviously, I understand it. I'm an adult and, can process things like that better. But it makes me want to be a better person. And also makes me want to just, If I ever think about somebody and I'm really mad at them, I think, well, what if they're not here tomorrow? What if they're gone? Is that the way I want to treat them? If that's the last time I treat them, Now, that doesn't mean I'm a pushover or I'm going to let people walk on me. Hell no. But at the same time, if it's a friend and they're they're a true friend, treat the interaction like it could be your last interaction, right? And try to conclude it in a way you'd want to conclude it, right? Because we never know. We never know. Mechanic Cat says, I plan to visit Japan's forest with a camera, but honestly, I just want to record the creepy ambience of the place. Just be respectful. And like I said, if you're just recording the forest and you see something, you need to turn the camera off. You need to not show or share or really save that video. I get creepy ambiance. I understand that. But even that, once again, understand that for some people, even the ambiance it's a place where they might have lost a family member or a friend. And so you're in a place that, I don't want to say sacred, but you're in a place that is packed with emotion, right? The forest is actually really beautiful. I've been there many times. Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's from Josh. What's up, Josh? Let's see here. Arashi 32900 says, I cannot forgive Logan Paul for the Aokigahara because from what I've heard, you actually have to go off path and go into the forest proper to find a body. It was intentional. He meant to find a body. No, he was definitely trying. Also, 200 yen says, as an expat living in Japan, I don't want Logan back. There you go. And if you don't want Logan back, then you need to speak up about that. So at this point, if you don't want Logan Paul back in Japan, you do need to speak up about that. That is something you would need to say, hey, no. And by the way, let me ask the question. Should Japan allow Logan Paul back? And this one is a yes, no. This one is a yes, no. So, and I think I know which ways this is going to go, but I want to know what you guys think in chat. So just make sure you give that a nice little like there. And while you're at it, like the video. Zia for 199 says, in 2010, Japan denied Paris Hilton entry. Well, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why they might deny Paris. I mean, The Simple Life was a travesty that essentially was a war crime. I mean, Paris committed a war crime with that TV show. I'm here for the Scuffer too, says, I'm just saying, I don't want a war crime hat to join. Both mentioning war crimes.
Oh, hell no. Oh.
No war crimes today. Player 125 for €5 says, Ohio, like a cute anime girl, right? Ohio. Thank you. The only cute U.S. state. Dark Canister for 5 Singapore says, a reminder that Logan didn't stream the event. He took the video and edited it for YouTube. He had multiple chances to change his mind. That's what makes it even worse. If it was an IRL streamer and they inadvertently caught something in the background and they didn't notice it, I would be very more forgiving, right? More forgiving. But this is an edited video. So there were and by the way, people have editors. So multiple people were soulless enough to think that posting a deceased body was a smart thing to do on YouTube, a platform in which, once again, there are many young people that view this, that are highly influenced by these things, that are at these points of time. They thought that wasn't a good idea. Angel Chase for 5 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you so much for that. Let's get some emotional cabbage.
Emotional cabbage.
Solin the Lich for 100 Argentinian says, if I did a deepfake of Logan's apology, would it be more or less insincere than the actual thing? You could probably do a deepfake that was more sincere. There's probably a one that's more sincere. Okay, so here's one big thing. Now, a lot of people are bitching about this, but Japan launched a digital nomad visa in March of 2024. Now, I have helped people who are pursuing this. And by the way, if you want to talk about going to Japan or you're interested in a digital nomad visa and you want to talk about it, you can feel free to hit me up, goeastgentleman@gmail.com. I help people who are looking to, visit or stay in Japan, Korea, Thailand, Philippines, and often do a lot of consultations on Japan. In fact, I'm going to have one coming up pretty soon, actually this week. And they've been really trying to push this program. But part of this is that, they want streamers to have visas. They want people working there to have visas. And now that this program is available, there's really not an excuse for streamers not to get a valid visa. That is to go to apply, to go through a criminal background check. And prove they have income, prove what they're doing, and go through a formal process. I believe that all people should have to go through this process because the amount of streamers would go down radically. They would pretty much eliminate most problematic nuisance streamers because most of them are criminals. And there's many of them that have a deep criminal record that would never, ever, ever pass muster for a criminal background check in Korea or Japan specifically. It would just not happen. They would not be able to pass a background check. So I think that gets a lot of the criminals out there and allows them to say, hey, if you're coming over here and you're in part of the system, you're paying, you're in, it's fine. But if you're not, no, you've got to get work authorization. And it's not that hard to get. It's not that hard. You could also start a business. You could also do something else. You could be a student, right? But we're not going to allow everybody to just come here and stream. And a lot of streamers are getting really mad about this because they're streaming and making money in Japan without permits. Why do I say this needs to be handled now? Because they haven't really officially banned people from working streaming. Not officially. They haven't clearly came out and said, we're going to crack down on streamers in Japan. But I think the time is now with Aiden Ross and with Logan Paul, because if they do this now, it will set a precedent. So if they say, Logan and Aiden, if you want to come here and stream, you've got to get a visa. You've got to get a work permission, some way to work in Japan. You've got to apply for it. That would stop them if Japan denies it, because Japan could look at Logan and say, we're not approving this. We're not doing this for you, Logan. We saw what you did in the past and we don't want you here. And that's their sovereign right and power. And I think they need to do that. I think they need to put the line down because they're being seen as really soft. And I don't think that's a good thing for Japan. Okay, let me get some of these. Thomas Anderson with $49.99. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Okay, let me see here. Thomas Anderson for $49.99 says, how can people be so stupid that condemning Dalgoon makes me a bot, a cuck, or even a freaking RKI himself? How? Both parties are wrong. This is not a controversial take at saying vigilantism bad has brought out 39 IQ and 39 self-awareness. Okay, Thomas, here's my thought on this. Let me I'm gonna be very fair because once again, first of all, obviously you can't condone violence. Condoning violence is not great, but there are people that can make arguments pro and con for vigilantism. And I think there are points of those arguments that are good. Obviously, when you have total vigilantism, you have essentially anarchy, right? Now, there are certain people who like anarchy and are okay with anarchy and want to go back to Wild West rules where you could just shoot somebody in the street, right? However, on the opposite side, people say, no, there's a time and a place for law enforcement, and you need to go get them involved. Now, others might say, well, what if law enforcement isn't effective? What if law enforcement is not good? What if law enforcement is slow or corrupt? Well, that's a separate problem. But, you don't need to say, oh, I condone vigilantism, right? One way or another. Do I understand why Dalgoon did it? Yeah. Does that make it something that should be promoted necessarily? Probably not. But if the law enforcement is working fast and efficiently, well, then there typically is less vigilantism. So these things can be seen as maybe hand in hand. Rising for 10 says, all these content creators mess with local agencies and people. I would love to see them act this way in our service members who are stationed in these regions. Osan AB, 2009, 2011. Cheers. Cheers. But I will say this, for what it's worth, I did meet Dalgoon, and I do think he is a good guy. I don't think he's an evil vigilante. I think he is a good guy. He's young. He's very nationalistic. He's very proud of Korea. So I understand his motivations. I am extremely empathetic to his motivations. And frankly, if someone said that about America and they were in America and they were, let's say it's a Chinese guy in America who's trash talking the US and somebody punched him in the face, I could empathize with why. Even if you don't necessarily agree with that, even if you think, no, that's technically his free speech right? He's allowed to do that. You can empathize with it and you can understand it, which I do. Robert Von Beek says, when you punish someone, you have to be careful. Always. I know someone who saw the accident of a loved one on social media before the police could inform them. Such things are unforgivable, and that is the big problem. Publishing these things can actually get false information out there as well. So they can see things that aren't really exactly how it happened, and a false narrative can come out. That's, for example, when cell phone footage comes out of an incident. It can look, for example, let's use police shootings, a very controversial topic in the United States. Oftentimes there'll be third parties filming it from their cell phone from a certain angle, and it will look really bad. But when the body cam footage comes out, people say, oh shit, actually, from the point of the view of the officer, I can understand X, right? In this case, more complicated scenario. So I understand how you got to be careful on how you put these things out there, because the presentation is everything. Asian Dragon says Logan Paul should not come back ever since his actions caused so much damage before other IRL streamers. Ray Danino has an alternative idea for 6, saying Japan should welcome Logan Paul and lock him up. Dante for 2 New Zealand says, yada! We don't want Paul back here. Stay out! Spider Bro says, even at the start of the video, he was bragging about being the first YouTuber to do something like this. He wants to find a body for clout. Bob says for 20, Australia has a system. There was a Border Force episode in the early 2000s that had an American trying to enter Oz on a tourist visa when he intended to come to work as a photographer, an OnlyFans creator. It was rejected 4 times. Even in America, I've had friends going into America. Yes, ye old America. And not, by the way, not in the last year. I'm talking even 4 years, 5 years, 6 years ago. And they were online people. The other jobs were online, like YouTube editors or graphic designers or stuff like that, where all their work was online. Everything was online. And one of them made the mistake to say that they were coming to meet somebody for work when they were on a tourist visa. That person was held for 6 hours in private detention. They pulled him to the side, and they were grilled, and they let them in, but they gave them a very stern warning, and I'm pretty sure they put something on their on their immigration file after that one, for saying, hey, I'm coming here for work. If you're on a tourist visa, you do not want to say, hey, I'm coming here for work. I mean, once again, be honest, but it can cause problems. Ronelm 2000 for 500 Philippine pesos says, I don't think most small-time streamers will be able to fulfill the financial requirements, wouldn't it? JP has 68K a year for the DMV. Heck, I don't even think I have that kind of income. Once again, I get it. And what I will say to that is that perhaps Japan needs to lower the threshold, but I'm not against having a requirement. I'm not against having a bar. And to be honest, that will keep out all the nuisance streamers because they don't make a lot of money. A lot of the small ones like DBR will be kept out. And I know that keeps out some good people, but you know what? At this point, Japan needs to think about the greater good. Billy Aoki for 5 Singapore says, use the code 250K Guiba to keep Logan Paul out of Japan. Rod Breton says, Ohio, Gojira live mice. Oh, fuck. You guys, sometimes you guys mess with me. And all I got to say to you guys when you mess with me.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you!
Ray Opie says, I mean, Logan broke the law in Japan, which is you can't film a corpse in the forest. There were signs at the front of the forest in Japanese, Chinese, English, and Korean. So he knew. Marshall Jed Cooper said, friend's dad curious how much vasectomy is in Korea. It's very cheap, actually. Very cheap. Especially in the Sonpa area. Lugia 21 says, cosplayer Non was denied entry to the US too. There you go. And just an old guy says, an argument for being a non-lethal vigilante is it can correct someone's behavior before it leads to jail time and ruination of a life. Some of the old ways need to be brought back. Look, you're not wrong. However, just an old guy, my counter to that is that's what and this is, people are going to get mad at me saying this. That's what parenting is for. If someone had good parents and was parented correctly, they would have had their behavior corrected as a child before it led to behavior, which would lead to jail time and life ruination. I'm just being fair here, but that's my personal opinion. That's not a legal opinion. That's my personal opinion, right? But whatever. You guys can be mad about me for that. But what you can't be mad about is 93% of you, pretty much everybody here, 93% think that Japan should allow Logan Paul back. Should not allow Logan Paul back. So 93% think that Logan Paul should be banned. And to be honest, once again, I think he can be banned. I think that legally Japan can deny Logan Paul. They can deny him for his past behavior, regardless of whether it was criminal. That's number one. And number two, they can deny him because he is planning to stream without a visa, without any work authorization. Japan has two solid reasons to deny Logan Paul. And according to what most people are saying in the chat, and I think this chat is pretty reflective of the people that are interested in this, this is something that they should get on. And if you are in Japan or interested, perhaps you might want to contact people in Japan to let them know and let them know about the welcomeness, or should I say unwelcomeness, of Logan Paul in Japan. On that note, guys, that's what we have for today. Oh, let me get this one more here. Fricey says Logan should live stream in the Philippines. Streaming is more fun in the Philippines. He'll be hanging out with Vitaly real soon. That said, guys, that's what we have for tonight. I will probably have some Somali content in a day or two. There's some stuff percolating up that I may get to. But that said, guys, have a wonderful night and stay safe, stay warm, while the Nuisance streamers are certainly.
You are coping the ceiling. You just can't believe what you're seeing. It's you coping the ceiling. The truth it is all day, and now you are molding.